when you showcase a car in a museum, it's usually one of a type of car. But in this case, it's the only one ever made, the only one that will ever be made. And that just kind of helps hold that special place in history as opposed to just any of the production cars. Well, when you talk about cars and you talk about Detroit, I mean, you really have to take the two in consideration, because Detroit, we made the cars, but the cars also made Detroit. The layout of the city, our economic structure, our way of life, our culture, all goes back to that car industry that started over 100 years ago.
Yeah, the rumors of Detroit's death are greatly exaggerated. Whereas the municipal stuff has kind of fallen apart, the arts and culture scene is more alive than ever. So things are possible here that just aren't possible anywhere else. Yeah, we're approaching the Ford Piquette plant. This was actually the outskirts of town. This was considered the country when they built Henry Ford's first factory. And he outgrew it so quickly that he then moved to Allen Park in Dearborn. But this was where the innovation happened. I mean, this is where they screwed together the first assembly line.
The Mustang II was unveiled on October 6, 1963 at Watkins Glen in New York. Shortly after that, it kind of started to tour the country on the car show circuit, gaining a lot of attention and getting some feedback that eventually went into the 65 production model. So after the Mustang II toured the country on the show circuit, it sat in a warehouse for a little over 10 years at Ford Motor Company. Eventually, the company decided to donate it to the Detroit Historical Society, where it's been ever since.
So in Detroit here, we've got some of those beautiful buildings in the entire world. Take the Guardian Building. The Guardian Building, they built that thing in 7 months. It was one of the world's tallest buildings for a long time. For how much of the history that we've lost here in Detroit, we've kept just as much of it, and it's astounding.
Well, the first iconic piece of this, of the Mustang II concept, is the bullet-shaped nose cone. That's an integral part of the front fenders as well. The car also came with these bullet-shaped GT-style exterior mirrors on the front fenders, 5-lug wheels, automatic trunk release, concealed emergency brake. The sets of 3 taillights, kind of started on this car and still exist even today.
This has become an amazing art and culture capital. There's so much space here to open a studio, to open a little shop, to run a letterpress store. That everything is just kind of condensed into this